Hello, thank you for tuning in to the video. This is pretty much just gonna be a rant, or kind of like pretty much just that, and kind of describing why you should probably get a C6 Corvette in 2024, specifically in 2024, and in general as to why you just get one as well. So I'm also gonna play this video kind of just as background. This video is driven by Alex. He makes POV videos. He got Z06 and the GTR. This video is decent, kind of just something to be in the background, but if you want to watch his videos, feel free. For now, it's just background, but to go ahead and jump right in, I'll play it. I also use this to kind of keep me on time because I don't need to be talking about this for more than 17 minutes, so we'll go ahead and play it. So first things first, this is also a Z06 as well that he has. I'm kind of be talking about all of them in general. Let me turn it down a little bit. So first things first, obviously the main thing that you hear is in every video, if you ever watch any Corvette video, C6 Corvette video, they're gonna tell you it's the best affordable sports car, it's best bang for your buck, and that's true. And I just don't want to drag that same point into the dirt because every video is gonna say the same thing. But obviously you can get a base C6 for 20, 25. If you want decent miles, probably closer to 30. Get a Grand Sport for 35 to 40 with decent miles, and then the Z06, 40 and up. And then the ZR1 is kind of in a different ballpark, kind of closer to 100K, which kind of is different. And I kind of see the C5 too, kind of as like just a lower level of a C6, so you can get one of those too for like 10 to 15. So you got a lot of affordability and a lot of different price ranges for different levels of performance, which is decent. But kind of to my own more, I think, niche points that I wanted to make was I think you should buy one now in 2024 based on the fact that I think prices are either gonna go up or down. But I think me maybe being more of a pessimist, expecting them to go up. But first I kind of explain why I think they might possibly go down first. It's because obviously it's an old car. Cars depreciate. And they're still making Corvettes, so you have the C8 now. So hopefully, if a general person just wants to buy a Corvette, they be like, okay, I want to buy a Corvette. The newest one is C8, I go buy a C8. If that's the case and people keep doing that and the masses keep doing that, then hopefully the C6 prices go down. And as a person that wants to buy a C6, that would be beneficial for me and anybody, I guess, probably watching this video. So that's the number one reason. Two, I think looking based on the C5 prices, and kind of seeing that the C6s are kind of getting to that same age of the C5s, and you look at C5 and get one for 10 to 15. So hopefully C6s do the same thing. That would be great for me, great for anybody else who wants to buy one. Another thing is the high production numbers of the C6s. I can't tell you how many they made, but I know it's a whole bunch. And if you got 50 million C6s out here, supply and demand is they don't gonna get so expensive. So that's another reason. Another reason, kind of like a relative reason, is the old styling, which is similar to the C5, which came out in 1997. So the C6 essentially still looks like a car that was made in 97. So another reason why people might not go out of their way to buy it if they don't really, feel super attracted to the car. But on a more pessimistic standpoint, why I think the prices might go up, and therefore why I think you might want to buy one sooner than later, is the main thing that I wanted to rant about was EVs, and kind of how the EVs and the masses are kind of killing the enthusiast car. I say that because most people, the masses, don't give a fuck about their car. It's a way to get from A to B, and I think that's why the EVs are kind of taking off, because people don't necessarily want to hear their engine. They don't want to have to get gas. They don't want to do all these things to just get from A to B. And the more EVs, the less V8s, the less V6s, the less even 4-cylinders we're gonna have, to the point where it's gonna be gone. Like the last enthusiast cars I think nowadays are, you got like the Subaru, the BRZ, Supra, the Nissan Z, the Miata. You got the Prelude coming out, but for the most part, those are like, in terms of like affordable sports cars. But without the C6, and maybe you can say the C7, but they price is kind of like in the 50 to 70,000 range. the C6 kind of like the last of the affordable V8 sports cars you can get. Like the only comparable, and if my 11 subscribers want to, give some other comparables, the only one I can think of is the.
I was just feeling sick.
Ooh.
I was the one.
Donate to St. Jude. Is the 5-liter Mustang. It's the only comparable I can think to a C6 Corvette, and at the same time, that doesn't really give you that same sporty nature of the Corvette, which I kind of want to touch on later. But the 5-liter Mustang, I feel like is more of a muscle car than the Corvette. I think the Corvette still kind of has some muscle car lineage to it, but I think the 5.0 kind of leans more into that muscle car. It doesn't really give you that sporty car feeling that you get. And I think too, in general, I think it's just going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. I think it's going to be pretty much impossible to get an affordable V8 sports car, even a just V8 muscle car either. Because I feel like Mustang's the last ones doing it. Camaro's dead. The Dodge Chargers Challengers are almost dead, I think. So sooner or later, it's going to be pretty much dead to get a V8 and an affordable sports car. Even the hypercars, supercars, they like hybrids with 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders. So I think the V8 is probably going to be gone. So if you love a V8, want a V8, I feel like you gotta get in there pretty soon, because soon enough it's going to be straight EVs, maybe some 3, some 4 cylinders. Other than that, you're going to be hard pressed to get an affordable V8. So hopefully that doesn't happen, but it might. And that's kind of why I'm so pressed to think I need to get one sooner than later, because I feel like either prices are going to go up or they're just going to be impossible to find, because what exists in a C6 Corvette and an affordable V8 sports muscle car kind of combination is pretty much going to be done. And like I said, you can't really get that for the money. But kind of another point I wanted to make was that when people say that, oh, it's the best bang for the buck, you can't really get the similar experience for the money. I think even with more money, I feel like you can't really get that same experience that you get with a C6. And what I mean by that is, specifically in a C6, I think you have kind of like that perfect combination of rawness. Oh shit, my phone, you ain't got no exhaust. You get that perfect combination of rawness and sportiness and muscle car, all kind of wrapped into one that you really can't get anywhere else. And again, the only combination or comparison I can think of is not the 5-liter, but the GT350 Mustang. I feel like that kind of has a similar kind of balance of sports car, muscle car that you can't really get anywhere else. But then a GT350, I don't know exactly how much they cost, but I'm sure they are more expensive than a C6 Corvette. So, and then like, either you're going to have an underpowered sports car like a Miata or a BRZ that kind of gives you that sporty kind of feel, but it's underpowered and it doesn't have a V8. It doesn't really do much for you. And it's like, it might be fun, but it's like at the same time, you're selling yourself a little short. And then on the other end, if you have the money, you go get a fucking McLaren or a Lamborghini or even like a C8. I feel like the competition between like the top of the end sports cars, hypercars, supercars, I think competition naturally drives those cars to be as perfect as they can be. And I think that kind of takes away from the experience of driving and having that muscle car and that kind of raw feeling that you would get. Because I don't think you get that same raw feeling in a C8 or a McLaren that you would get from a C6 or like an old muscle car that you feel like fucking around might kill you if you drive it too fast. And it's like, obviously you don't want to spend $250,000 on a car that you feel like you can't push hard because it might kill you. So understandably, they make their cars with, the most precision as possible, but I think that kind of eliminates some of the fun factor. The other car actually too that I think is comparable would be just a C7, but that's also a Corvette. So I think for me, I kind of will put the C5, C6, and C7 all in the same ballpark of a car that you should buy in 2024 as opposed to wait, because all of them probably, like, we're not getting no more of those. I feel like the Corvette is probably like 1 or 2 more generations in before it's probably going the same way as the Dodge and Camaros. Let me see. kind of again with the rawness and the precision. Like I think the C6 has that perfect combination of the rawness and the precision. Kind of like the same as saying the muscle car, sports car combination is kind of the same as saying that it has that rawness that I feel like you want and the precision that I feel like you want. I feel like it's not leaning too much in either direction. So those kind of my main points. And I got some small points too that I just wanted to throw in there for GP. For me, I feel like I like the interior of the C6. Most people say it's trash, and I feel like I've never been in one, quite frankly. Like I'm speaking from straight YouTube experience and research and just watching a bunch of videos. But the interior might, when you get in it, I'm sure it might creak and shit, but just visually, I think it looks nice. And I think it kind of, again, adds to that rawness and feeling like you're driving an old muscle car versus like the new Mustang with all the screens and then all the hypercars, where it kind of has too much to where you kind of feel like it kind of takes away from the experience or to feeling like you're really driving a classic car. That's just a small, very much subjective thing. I also appreciate the styling on the outside of the car too. I think for me personally, I think that's one of my favorite Corvettes to my 11 subscribers. I made a video on that if y'all seen that, but I think it's one of the best looking Corvettes. And I think for me it's like is what you would think of when you think of a Corvette. Like the new Corvette doesn't really give that same feeling to me. Mid-engine, I know they say Zora always wanted a mid-engine Corvette, but I still don't think it kind of suits the name of the Corvette. But I think it looks nice, but it doesn't really get that same feel. But in terms of, for my final point, in terms of which C6 I think you should get, I would say don't get the Grand Sport, because I feel like when I look on Auto Trader, it's like 20. So I feel like if y'all buying them up, then it's gonna be less for me, because that's the one that I want to get. I think the Grand Sport is probably like the sweet spot of the Corvettes. It's not a base, but it's not a Z06 or a ZR1. But it has I think suspension upgrades, the brakes, and probably a few other things from the Z06, with also having a removable top that the Z06 doesn't have. That's the main reason why I want one. And it has the wide body. I feel like that's all comes in perfect. 12-inch rear wheels, 12-inch wide rear wheels. I think that's pretty good. And for me, I think if you're somebody who thinks, okay, I might just buy a C6, have it for 4 or 5 years, and then sell it, then maybe I'd say you probably get a base. But the main reason I'm thinking I want a GS is because I'm like, maybe I'm naive, ignorant, whatever. I'm thinking I want to have the car for the rest of my life and have it and let it be a classic, let it be a 60-year-old car that is like, people looking like that's an old ass car. And I think if I was to get a base, I would probably be looking at it for the rest of my life like, damn, I wish this was a Grand Sport. So it's like, save my money, try to get the one I really want. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully in a year and a half I have me a Grand Sport, but only time will tell. But we'll see. But other than that, I think that's kind of the main reasons why I think you should get one in 2024. I think prices probably go up. If we lucky, then they might go down. Then I really get a Grand Sport. Fuck around, I might get a Z06. But I think they might go up because the EVs killing enthusiast cars, and anybody that wants an enthusiast car is gonna have to get an old car. And they're gonna probably look back, they on C7, it might be a bit too expensive. They on C6, that's right on time. So I think they might start getting bought up soon as more and more enthusiast cars are gone and people can't buy a new, V8 sports car like they used to be able to. Then I think they're gonna start buying up old stock, and I think that's either price is gonna go up, which in that case will be the best case scenario, or they just might be gone and prices might really, really go up. You really want to buy one, you gotta buy one from somebody that's selling it for $60,000 or something. But that's pretty much it. And I think the Corvette has that perfect combination again of muscle car, sports car. So if you got the money, it's fucking up the end of my video. But if you got the money, I say it'd probably be a good car to get. I definitely want one, so maybe don't get one. But regardless, those are my points. If you like the video, like it. If not, be smooth, be safe, be good, subscribe. Join my 11 subscribers. I said I got 12 subscribers. So other than that, take it easy.